Republicans had lofty goals for 2017, their first year of control over both chambers of Congress and the White House since 2007. But their accomplishments were confined to a few partisan victories, most notably the tax overhaul and regulatory reductions. Now that it's 2018, more pressing agenda items are looming for President Trump and the GOP.
Well, there isn't any chance that we're going to shut the government down.
The country faces a January 19th deadline to reach another spending agreement, after lawmakers kicked the deadline down the road with 2 temporary spending bills in December. Republicans need Democrats' support on any spending measure to pass the Senate, but Trump has repeatedly threatened not to compromise on his priorities to evade a shutdown.
My vision includes the elimination of the defense sequester.
Republicans and Democrats both want to end automatic caps that constrain spending each year, but Republicans want to do so to boost military spending, while Democrats are demanding matching domestic spending.
Collection Under 702 has produced and continues to produce intelligence that is vital to protect the nation.
Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Amendments Act of 2008, which lets the U.S. conduct surveillance on foreigners without a warrant, is set to expire on January 19th. The intelligence community pushed for its reauthorization through all of 2017. But some are concerned about government abuse of warrantless surveillance.
My assumption is that the debt ceiling will continue.
The Treasury Department has exceeded its borrowing authority and needs Congress to raise the debt ceiling, probably by mid-March, so that the government doesn't default on its loans. And while many Republicans railed against the debt ceiling in the past, an increase has bipartisan support now that they're in power.
There are improvements we could make in the legal immigration system.
Immigration protections for undocumented immigrants who arrived in the U.S. as minors expires on March 5th.
We're working on a plan.
Immigration hardliners don't want to provide these protections, while moderates and liberals are pushing for legislation as public support for a deal with Dreamers climbs. Trump, who himself ordered the change in protections, has said he wants more border security measures in any deal to protect Dreamers.
We're going to do CHIP. There's no question about it in my mind.
There's bipartisan support for extending the Children's Health Insurance Program, which Congress let expire in September. But Republicans need to revive CHIP by March, when the money keeping it afloat is likely to run out. That money goes toward health insurance coverage for roughly 9 million children.
Just some small bill, that ain't gonna happen, okay? You've got to do bigger, profound reforms.
With the individual mandate to purchase health insurance gone, and markets in disarray over the GOP's inability to decide on any health insurance policy, moderates are pushing for measures to stabilize health insurance markets and subsidize insurance costs, while Trump and some other conservatives want to end the Affordable Care Act at any cost.
Hurricanes just hit people. They hit Americans. And we have an obligation to respond to this.
Preliminary disaster relief funding for damage caused by hurricanes and wildfires was passed in 2017, but communities still need more funding to rebuild. The price tag is making some spending hawks wary, especially after their $1.5 trillion deficit-financed tax bill.
Reform the entitlement programs, which are on autopilot.
Trump and House Speaker Paul Ryan both say they want to overhaul entitlement programs like Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security this year, but seem to have different approaches.
Without cuts.
And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has publicly disagreed with pursuing entitlement programs in 2018. The Senate would need Democratic support, and they're very unlikely to back lower funding levels for safety net programs.
Well, we're going to get infrastructure. Infrastructure is the easiest of all.
Trump has long pledged to invest in America's infrastructure, in the hopes that it will create jobs and promote his America First agenda. Democrats largely agree with investing in infrastructure, and McConnell would much rather focus on a bipartisan infrastructure package in the Senate than welfare programs.